When I was a kid, I was wondering, what's the meaning of life? Why are we here? What's it all about? And I came to the conclusion that what really matters is trying to understand the right questions to ask. The more that we can increase the scope and scale of human consciousness, the better we are able to ask these questions.
When I was growing up, I'd read lots of books. They were very often set in the United States. It seemed like a lot of new technology was being developed in the United States. I really want to work on new technology, so I want to get to Silicon Valley. When I was growing up, Silicon Valley seemed like some sort of mythical place, like Mount Olympus or something. I tried at first to convince my parents to move to the US, but neither of them would move. They were divorced. And so eventually I was able to get my Canadian citizenship because my mom had been born in Canada. I moved first to Canada by myself when I was 17, and then a few years later I moved to the US. When I was a kid, I didn't really have any grand design. The reason I started programming computers because I like computer games, and I play lots of computer games. I learned that if I wrote software and sold it, then I could get more money and buy better computers. So it wasn't really some grand vision or anything. The reason I came to Stanford was actually to work on energy storage technologies for electric cars. That summer of '95, I was looking at the internet, and it seemed to me like the internet was going to have a big effect on humanity. I can either work on electric vehicle technology and do my PhD at Stanford and watch the internet get built, or I could put my studies on hold and try to be part of the internet. At first I tried to get a job at Netscape because that was the only internet company, and they didn't respond to me. If I can't get a job at the only internet company, then I better try starting something. So I put my studies on hold and started the company.
The part that I find personally most motivating is that it creates a sense of adventure, and it makes people excited about the future. If you consider two futures, one where we are forever confined to Earth until eventually something terrible happens, or another future where we are out there on many planets, maybe even going beyond the solar system. The second version is incredibly exciting and inspiring, and there need to be reasons to get up in the morning. Life can't just be about solving problems. Otherwise, what's the point? There's got to be things that people find inspiring and make life worth living.
I usually describe myself as an engineer. Most of what I do is engineering. I spend most of the week with my engineering and design team working on the current car and future cars, the rockets and spacecraft.
I think about what technology solution is necessary in order to achieve a particular goal, and then try to make as much progress in that direction as possible. When I interview somebody, my interview question is always the same. I said, tell me the story of your life and the decisions that you made along the way and why you made them. And also tell me about some of the most difficult problems you worked on and how you solved them. Because people that really solve the problem, they know exactly how they solved it. They know the little details. And the people that pretended to solve the problem, they can maybe go one level and then they get stuck. One of the biggest challenges, I think, is making sure you have a corrective feedback loop and then maintaining that corrective feedback loop over time, even when people want to tell you exactly what you want to hear. And one of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You want something to be true even if it isn't true. You ignore the real truth because of what you want to be true. This is a very difficult trap to avoid. But if you just take that approach of you're always to some degree wrong, and your goal is to be less wrong,